Welcome to another exciting episode of Cars with Big Boy Trev. I'm Big Boy Trev.
My name is Mirigi.
And today we are Toyota Kenya celebrating the 90s, when Bobby was still a renegade. And of course, what, Mr. Mirigi?
We have, of course, with us here the brand new Toyota Starlet. We're bringing it back for the 2020s.
But first things first.
Let's check out the highlights of today's show.
This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we celebrate the 90s with the rebirth of Toyota's feisty legend, the Starlet. Now built for the 21st century with funky styling, fresh interiors, tons of technology, and not forgetting a peppy engine for a spirited drive. Catch this and much, much more only on Cars with Big Boy Trev every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. only on KTN Home. So first things first, let's take a look at the design aspect of this Toyota Starlet. Now, as you can see, this car is no longer narrow as the previous Starlet. It's now wider, of course, to give this car that athletic stance that many hatchbacks do have currently. Now, as you can see, even Toyotas never used to have front air dam splitters. This one actually has one, and of course, a slated lower grille, then a shiny piece of chrome around the badge, just giving this car that premium look and feel. Of course, the trapezoidal headlights with LEDs, which are now standard in most cars, now available in this particular car. And what Toyota have done basically is to increase the track and the width of the vehicle to give this car that lower sporting style that you probably remember with the Starlets of the yesteryears of the 90s. Now moving over to the side profile, that's where matters become more interesting, because remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the design functionality of this particular car. And Toyota are not playing anymore. Remember, Chairman Toyota have always said Toyota needs to stop making bland cars. It's time to have flair, funky vehicles that attract the younger generation, and that is not different with the design face of this particular car on the side profile. So as you can see, this is a hatchback, and obviously hatchbacks do have that slightly sloping roofline that goes all the way to the back and extends all the way to this rear spoiler, which just adds that functionality of style. Of course, as you can see, the doors, again, there's a subtle arc from the wheel arc that extends all the way to the lower part of the door, all the way to the back, and then ends at the rear bumper. Again, subtle styling, but again gives this car that aggressive stance that we keep on talking about. And finally, to top up the design face, you do have 16-inch diamond cut trims. Remember, not many manufacturers do have this as standard features in their vehicles, and this Starlet just adds that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about on Cars Big Boy Trev. The 16-inch low-profile tires again gives this car that stylish stance that you so desire. You probably find in many other European versions. Now moving over to the back, this is where matters also become very interesting, because the overlay of the design language is now also infused with the back part of the Starlet. So if you look at the rear profile, again, the extension of the sloping roofline goes all the way to, of course, the spoiler, and of course there's another extra lip just to give this car that extra edge, as you can see. And to top it up, they have chrome on it just to make it blingy. Remember, people of this generation are actually very blingy, very stylish, and of course subtle elements like this just adds that je ne sais quoi we keep on talking about. And of course, it being a hatchback, there's some sloping angle towards it. You have the letters of the Starlet emblazoned and the badge of the Toyota as well, just symmetrical to ensure that everything lies in place. And of course, it does have reverse camera, which comes as standard as well. So your view at the back is amazing. 180 degrees added with this particular sensors makes parking the Starlet a joy to be in. But question is it a joy to be inside the vehicle? Let's step inside and see what the Starlet is made of. Courtesy of Cars with Big Boy Trev. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the design face of the Toyota Starlet, Toyota are not playing games when it comes to designing new cars for the 21st century, and the Starlet is no different. So let's look and step inside and see what the design face is all about. Now, as you look inside, from my perspective, the cabin is very spacious. Why? Because Toyota have employed the Ford cab design, where the dashboard is placed far away from the passengers to ensure that there's plenty of space. And of course, having wider windows to ensure that light comes into the cabin ensures that the space within the Starlet is just but amazing. Now, the one-piece design of the dashboard again has some unique design. It's a V-motive design that ends in the middle, where there's a circular display where the AC is, and of course the highlight of it is this 7-inch multi-touch, multi-information display unit, which is finished in piano black, and of course a trim of stainless steel plastic. Again, name of the game here is technology. The people who are being targeted are the younger generation. So this particular system has quite a number of things, including Apple CarPlay and of course Android Auto, where our resident tech expert, Mr. Murigi, will just dive deeper and just tell you how these things work and how it improves your functionality while driving the Toyota Starlet. And apart from that, you do have quite a number of features, radio and of course navigation, which probably comes as standard in different sectors of the market. But again, it's a functional system that works really well. Moving right below this multi-information display is a climate control, which comes as standard in the Starlet. It's not dual zone, but works really well. So imagine you're in Mombasa, it's extremely hot, you crank up the air conditioning unit and the cold air just blasts away from the vents. But if you're in Limuru and you need a lot of temperature, then you can crank up the heater and of course the cabin remains very warm. Again, that's something amazing from Toyota, because now people are able to enjoy the certain functionalities of these cars. So one thing I do like about this cabin, it is extremely quiet. So imagine all the noise that is outside there, and you step inside the Starlet, you are greeted with a very quiet cabin. And this is because Toyota have put certain elements to reduce the noise, vibration and harshness within the cabin. So insulating the transmission tunnel, of course even the body panels, the firewall, just to make sure that your pleasant drive with the Starlet is just but amazing. So you're able to have conversations in traffic without feeling whatever is happening outside. And that is something that you probably find on high spec models and of course premium vehicles, and that is now it's right here. Right below the AC vents, before we go to the gearbox console, a few switches. You do have a 12-volt socket to power up your devices, and of course a USB port and an auxiliary port. If you are a person of an iPod, you want to plug and play your music, you can do that directly using the system that's available on this Toyota Starlet. Now obviously gearbox console, plenty of cables and spaces, space for your cell phone, your space for a bottle of water or two, and of course the traditional gate shift gearbox, which you're going to talk about much later. Traditional handbrake for handbrake turns. If you never did a handbrake turn in a Starlet, my god, you're sorry, but you're not too late. You're able to try this with this particular Starlet. Of course, you do have the center console, plenty of space. You can hide your valuables, your keys, your wallet, just to make sure that prying eyes don't take your stuff away from you. Now moving over to the instrument binnacle, this is where the focus is on the driver. So all the information that the driver conceives about what is happening in the car is done visually. So obviously you do have traditional dials with a blue hue, which makes it amazing. Toyota don't go overboard when it comes to designing such, but they've done that with the Starlet because they're responding to the needs of the younger generation. So left hand side you have the tachometer, right hand side you have the speedometer, and of course you do have the temperature and fuel gauge on opposing ends. And of course in the middle you have a multi-information display, which is monochrome and has that logo for the Toyota Starlet. So it will show you if the door is open, range, it will give you average time when you need to service your vehicle, odometer readings, all those things. And then of course you can control that using quite a number of buttons over here. Now 3-spoke steering wheel as standard, leather clad, again making it very premium. You do have satellite buttons that comes as standard as well. On the left hand side you have all the buttons that control the multimedia information display, so you can toggle in between Bluetooth, radio, telephone, etc. And then you also have voice command, which Mr. Murigi is going to show you later on. On the right hand side you do have cruise control settings, so you're able to remain safe on the road. Remember, speeding is bad. We're in the Christmas period, so make sure that the cruise control functionality works. We're going to show you how it works later on. Now moving over to the seating and comfort, I can tell you the front seats of this Starlet are so comfortable. Big Boy is very comfortable, lumbar support is amazing, and of course the car adjusts to you, not the other way around. And I can tell you from the tilt telescopic steering wheel, if you're a brief person or short, you can able to adjust it quite comfortably. And of course even the seat, the driver's seat is height adjusting to ensure that you are placed safely in the steering wheel of this Starlet. How fancy is that? You have people who are very short and they're not able to reach the pedal, so this particular car allows that flexibility for you, for your comfort, and of course for your safety. So guys, that's it. It's time for me to hand over the reins to Mr. Murigi, who's our resident tech expert, who's going to give us a lowdown on this amazing system where it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and of course allows you to be functional while on the road. Again, he's going to move over to the back seat to see how functional it is, and the boot, and then take it out to the road and see what the Starlet is made of.
When it comes to technology, Toyota, I have to say, has done an incredible job with the technology in this vehicle. The Toyota Starlet has truly been brought into the 21st century. I'm going to start even before you enter the car with the key. They actually have a smart key at this price point, which is not something that you tend to see a lot in vehicles at this price. So with this key in your pocket, all you need to do is just approach the car and you have keyless entry. There's a small button on the door, you just press it and the car will open. When you walk away from the car, press it and the car will lock. In addition to that, we have keyless start. So there's actually a start-stop button that you do over here. No more twisting the key. That is stuff that they have left for the old Starlet. This beautiful leather-covered multifunction display actually has 3 different things going on. On the left, we have buttons, of course, here that control this multi-information system. On the right, we have buttons that manage the cruise control. And then in the middle over here, we have buttons that manage the phone. Now, talking about the phone, like I mentioned, this system actually comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which allows you to connect your phone and mirror the display of your phone on this display, and that gives you access to Google Maps, it gives you access to your calendar, gives you access to a whole suite of technology by Google to keep you on the move, which is really incredible. So we have, of course, now here a map that is showing in real time, by the way, so you can actually tell whether there's traffic. So you can give it directions. I can actually press the voice control button over here. Take me to Toyota Kenya.
Navigating to Toyota Kenya Limited in Ngong Road.
And you can see it's actually showing on the map the nearest Toyota Kenya dealer, which is the place that you need to go to have a look at one of these. In addition to this, of course, now you have access to your calendar. So actually when you're on the move, you can ask the phone, remind me to watch CBBT on YouTube.
Okay, watch CBBT on YouTube. When do you want to be reminded?
Monday morning.
Sure, I'll remind you on Monday at 8 a.m.
That's exactly the same time that our YouTube channel posts every episode, so you need to check out our YouTube channel to see the latest episode if you miss it on KTN today. So in addition to that, of course, now this also is accessing the rear camera. So when you put the car in reverse, you have, of course, now this 7-inch display showing you the reverse camera, which is incredible when you're trying to park this car. In addition to that, this car also has parking sensors for the rear, which makes this an incredible car to park when you're in the urban environment. Like I had mentioned on the steering wheel over here, on the right we are controlling now the cruise control on this car, which comes as standard. Now the cruise control allows you to do is to set a certain speed. I like to set 95 because the speed limit on some roads is about 100, so you set it at 95, and then all you're doing at this point in time, take your foot off the accelerator and the car will just maintain that speed. All you do is steer. It makes it a lot easier on a long trip because all you have to do is focus on steering the car, and you can sit in a position that is comfortable, and it takes the stress out of a long trip because number one, you're more comfortable. Number two, you don't get in trouble with the police. Now, in addition to that, like I said, you actually have stability control. It's part of the safety features of this car. This car comes as standard fitted with 6 airbags. Lots of safety in this car. So the new platform that they call TECT, also part of the technology, like Trevor had mentioned, helps the car to be stiffer, which is better on the road. It's a lot safer, and it helps the car to be very quiet. It's a very quiet cabin over here. They did a great job with that. This is actually a very nice car. Coming around to the back of the brand new Toyota Starlet, and this, in my opinion, is the secret behind the success of this car, in my opinion, because look at how much space there is here. So much space available here. I'm 5'9", Trevor is 6'1". Look at the space we have here. This car is a lot bigger than it looks like from outside. The seats, of course, at the back here are actually very comfortable, and one thing that I like is that by default, all of them are standard, have privacy glass at the back. So this is actually tinted glass, not a film that has been put. That comes as standard. In terms of the space that's available, each of the 4 doors of this car have space for a 1-liter bottle of water that you can put on the side here, or anything else that you would need to store. And this is in addition to the fact that this has a 6-speaker system. So there's actually a lot of sound that is coming into this cabin. One thing that I like is the fact that they've done this 2-tone design. So at the bottom over here, everything is fitted out in black, but the roof headliner is in a light color, and that gives you now an illusion that the car is even bigger than it actually feels. Now, in terms of safety, like we had mentioned, this car has 6 airbags, which includes, of course, now a side curtain airbag extending all the way to the back. And we have ISOFIX points for child seats at the back, so you can actually fit a child seat at the back over here to make sure your people are safe when you're on the move. Like I had mentioned earlier, there's a 12-volt socket over here for charging anything that you have at the back, and there's a smaller storage area just to keep stuff that you don't want to be moving around in the car. In addition to that, of course, only the passenger side seat has a seat back cover because you don't want to be interrupting the driver when he's on the move. So there's additional storage on the passenger seat. But talking about storage, let's jump into the back and see how much stuff you can carry in the brand new Toyota Starlet. Coming round to the boot of the Starlet, and like I mentioned, first of all, keyless entry. You're not putting your key anywhere over here. With the key in your pocket, all you do is just come under here and you can open the boot, which opens to reveal a massive 345 liters of capacity. This is the largest in this class. I have to say, more space than you can imagine. Now, I like the fact that also now it's pretty square. It's very easy to fill stuff inside here. There's a bit of a lip, so it's actually very deep inside here, but it's very square, very easy to use. And I have to say, a lot of space, quite a lot more than you would imagine. Now under here, of course, now we have a spare tire and space for, of course, all of the statutory things that you need to have: your triangle, your fire extinguisher, your first aid kit, all the stuff that you need on the move. But this, I have to say, they've done a great job. You can carry both your people and your stuff. But it's time for us to take this on the road and let you know what the Toyota Starlet feels like as a driving experience.
So guys, today's a beautiful day. We are sampling the Toyota Starlet, reborn for the 21st century. And from the walk around, the cabin features, you can tell that Toyota are not playing games. So we want to find out how this car performs. Remember the old Starlets, they were very fast, very peppy. So is it any different with this brand new 21st century Starlet? Let's find out. Now we go to the engine, which is the most important thing. Now up front, you do have the K14B series of engines, which are very high efficient and of course allows this car to rev all the way to 6,000, delivering 68 kilowatts and of course 130 Newton meters of torque sent to the front wheels courtesy of a 6-speed CVT transmission. Now you know I am not the biggest fan of CVT, however, because it's a city car, it enhances fuel efficiency and returns a fuel economy figure of 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is very good, especially in our traffic-laden Nairobi streets. But when you float it down, like now, one more gear, linear response is amazing because remember, CVT has stepless gears, listen, and it revs all the way, 5,000, 5,500, 600 and shift. So it's pretty rapid and actually feels very, very peppy. And it accelerates all the way to 178 kilometers an hour. And of course, I don't advocate for high-speed driving, but it has the guts to do a very spirited run with this particular vehicle. However, it's all about the handling. Again, Starlets are renowned for handling. So obviously up front you do have McPherson struts, and at the back you have torsion beam with coil springs that allows this car to be planted on any given surface, and of course very composed even on sharp crests and curves as we are driving right now along Langata Road. And I can tell you, even the suspension, it soaks up all the imperfections quite easily. It allows this car to feel very comfortable, very poised, and that is something that I've loved about the Starlet. So guys, we've seen that the Starlet is actually fun to drive. It's got all the power, all the gizmos you can ever think of, but it's time to think about safety. Now, safety has too many fronts, but we start with the structure of this Starlet. It's based on the TECT technology architecture, which basically means total effective control through technology. So Toyota guys have literally decided to build this car based on some performance architecture that allows this car to be very stiff and of course very safe. So giving you adequate protection during a crash, and of course handling is up there because of the torsion rigidity. Now, Speaking of active safety features, you have anti-lock braking system, which literally prevents you from locking wheels during an emergency, and you're able to swerve away from the danger. And of course, you have stability control in case you lose talent. However, if all hell breaks loose, you know that term, then you can rely on the 6 airbags that comes as standard. 6 in this Toyota. And of course, you do have safety belts, which are actually the primary source of protection whenever you're in the car, to reduce the impact of an accident, and of course reducing injury to your passengers. Very, very important aspects. But now the question now remains is value for money. So you have some money in the bank and you're really interested in buying a Starlet. What do you do? What are the options? Shall you buy a different brand? Will you buy a second-hand vehicle? It's time to head out and do value for money with myself. I'm Mr. Motoring. So guys, you've seen what the 90s was all about, and now it's time to see what the 21st century has to offer, courtesy of the brand new Toyota Starlet. Mr. Motoring, highlights of this particular car.
I have to say here they've done an incredible job. I understand Toyota Kenya has decided that they want to make sure that everybody who needs a car has the car that they need. They're all about mobility now, and when it comes to this car, they have thrown everything at it. It's incredibly high spec, technology is amazing, like I showed you, the space is incredible, and it's good to drive with great fuel efficiency. I have to say, in terms of this being a package, they've done a very good deal for the people of Kenya.
Now, I know our viewers are busy asking, how much does it cost to own a Starlet? Mr. Motoring.
Well, at the moment, the one spec, which is the highest spec, they don't offer it any other way. This car is available for 1.9 million shillings. This, of course, comes with Toyota's 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. But in an industry first, they're allowing you to trade in any car. You don't have to abort it from Toyota Kenya. Any car that you have, bring it to Toyota Kenya, trade it in, and they'll give you a discount of the value of the car that you've traded in off that 1.9 million shillings. In addition to that, they're offering up to 95% financing on this car, which on this car means that you'll be paying a deposit of about 80,000 shillings and monthly payments ranging around 36,000 shillings for 60 months, for 5 years, and you can drive away this brand new showroom car.
Wow, guys, so many options for you to choose. Guys, would you want to own a piece of the Starlet? Let us know as seen on the social media notes below. We'll get back to you with the feedback. Well, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next week, drive safe.
Be safe.